Мікрофон. Так, згортаю і говорю, так? Hello. So today we have a free day in FIDE Grand Prix. Hello. And because of this, I will comment today 3 games from Euwe Alekhine match. Games 12, 13 and 14. So in that moment, score was +2 in favor of Alekhine. But after game 14, score was already equal because Euwe won 2 games with white, and with black he made draw. And step by step we will consider these games. So I will start with game 12. So was Grünfeld defense. d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5, and queen b3. Very popular line. Another possible move order, start with knight f3 firstly, and only after bishop g7 to play queen b3. And it's very interesting that Euwe played both move. Hello. So hey, Max Euwe in his practice play both move order. And very interesting his game against Salo Landau. Why? Because Salo Landau was the second of Alexander Alekhine during the match. So, and in the game against Euwe, Salo Landau demonstrated preparation very close to modern theory. So he took on c4, queen takes c4, and he played bishop e6 immediately. Of course, a much more popular line is castle, and after castle e4, black has many systems. For example, a6 is possible, bishop g4 is possible, knight c6. c6 as well, Boleslavsky system. But bishop e6 played Salo Landau. It's interesting that in Saturday I played in online tournament in Chess.com, and Nodirbek Abusadorov also played bishop e6 against me. So I played against Abusadorov queen a4 check. He responded with bishop d7, and I played queen a3. Idea not allow c5 and prepare e4. If castle e4, it's very good position for white. So he played bishop c6, I played e3. And now, in my opinion, the best for black is just take on f3 and play something like c6 and then knight bd7, castle. I guess we would love if you would enlarge your camera frame. But okay, I need to know opinion of another spectators. Maybe for you it's better if I will enlarge. For somebody else it's normal like there. Okay. So takes and c6, it's possible play, and then plan of black is castle, knight bd7, e6 or e5 if white will allow, but usually white can put his pawn on f4. But my opponent played, instead of bishop f3, he played just knight bd7, bishop e2, castle, knight e4, rook d1, e6, and I was slightly better after knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, bishop d2. Quite standard position with small edge for white. And game ended to draw. Okay, so, but Euwe played queen b5 check, and Landau played knight c6. Modern theory advice start with, so he played knight c6, after queen takes b7, bishop d7. It's like suggestion of modern theory, but after knight c6, white can play e4 with advantage, because now d5 is unpleasant threat, and what to do for black. For example, if bishop d7, because d5 is threat. If a6, queen takes b7 is possible, because knight a5, queen b4. So if bishop d7, white can play. Queen takes b7 may be a little bit risky, because this, queen e2, c5, something like this. But okay, after bishop d7, white can play solid. I mean, queen b3, and this position looks much more pleasant for white. So usually black starts with bishop d7 here. And only after queen takes b7, knight c6. After queen b3, now c5 is possible. And now if d takes c5, knight a6 is option, for example. If d5, many options is possible. For example, knight a6, e4, queen b6 is option. There is some games with b5 pawn sacrifice I recommend to see. Game between Swidler and Gelfand. So and only after queen takes b7, knight c6, and it's quite a popular position now. And but we can see game Euwe Landau in 1939. So after the match, they was played, and we will consider this game at least opening part. So after bishop d7. So he started with knight c6, Landau, I mean, and Euwe took on b7, e4 was stronger, as I explained it. So bishop d7, queen b3, black has threat rook b8. So as I explained it, e4 is dangerous for white, because rook b8, knight b4, queen e2, c5, and white has problem with his development. So queen b3, it's correct. Rook b8, queen d1, bishop f5. Now black has threat knight b4 somehow after e3. So queen a4 played Euwe. Bishop f5 also probably strongest move, also according to modern theory, because if just castle, white can play e4. And after bishop g4, d5, knight e5, bishop e2, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and okay, black has some compensation for the pawn, but objectively it's not totally enough. So bishop f5, it's the best move, according to modern theory as well, and Salo Landau made this move. So queen a4, now queen d7, a3, castle, e3. Only now Landau played queen d6. Bonjour, no parle français. Hablo español, Türkçe konuşuyorum. Francais, okay. Some phrases I know, but I cannot speak French, unfortunately. And only now queen d6. Queen d6, it's not modern theory. And after bishop b5, knight d8, castle, white is obviously better. Although later Euwe even lost game, but after the opening he is much better. So now the best move for black is knight d5 or knight e4. Both is possible. Dutch, some phrases can understand, but hardly can speak. So knight d5 or knight e4 are the best moves for black now. And if bishop b5, rook b6, and with some compensation. This is conclusion of modern theory, and even this type of compensation it's looks like enough, especially with help of computers programs. So we can see that even in this time best players in the world and their seconds were prepared theoretically in quite a good level. But okay, let's come back to game 12. Slovak, yes, I think so, protože můžu mluvit na češtině. Myslím, že таки можу розуміти словаччину. Okay, so let's come back to game 12. Добре, дякую. So queen b3, now as I explained it, дякую. Таки приємного вечора. As I explained it before, bishop e6 is important alternative, and one of variation is a game between Mam все добре, дякую. Between Nair and Paravian, queen a4 check, bishop d7, queen b3, c5. D takes c5, knight a6, queen a3, rook c8, and after b4, knight b8, Paravian played, with idea to prepare a5, and if queen takes a7, knight c6. So this, and according to computers programs, black is totally fine now. So knight b8, it's surprisingly good move. But okay, so bishop g7, e4 castle, and now knight f3. But if white wants to avoid Smyslov system after bishop g4, it's possible to play bishop e2 high. So bishop e2, for example, played Tigran Petrosyan against Mikhail Botvinnik in his World Championship match. So idea of Petrosyan was to avoid bishop g4 after knight f3. And okay, so now black has several opportunities, but interesting. No, g3 here not. It's not a good idea here. So here it's better to develop bishop on e2, knight on f3, g3. Okay, knight c6 will start. And black immediately will attack centrum. No, so bishop e2 played Petrosyan, and interesting that next appearance of bishop e2 line in highest level was game between Topalov and Kamsky in Sofia. So Kamsky played a6 after bishop f4, b5, queen takes c7, queen takes c7, bishop takes c7, and Kamsky played b4. Another theoretical move is bishop b7. So Kamsky played b4, knight a4, and now knight c6 with very complicated position. But okay, knight f3 played Euwe, very natural move. Black has many systems, but Alekhine played Hungarian system, a6. So in that time, nobody from Hungary played this. Why not take the pawn after b4? Immediately take the pawn. It's not possible. Not possible because knight b6, I think, and black losing some material. Same idea we will see in the game. So knight f3, a6, so Hungarian system. But okay, this system became popular much more later, thanks to Hungarian grandmaster Andras Adorjan, who played this system very often. And the bishop f4, what played Euwe, according to modern theory, it's certainly not the best move. So white has choice between e5, between queen b3, and between bishop e2. And at the moment there are a lot of theory. For example, bishop e2, b5, queen b3, c5, d takes c5, and now black has choice between bishop b7 is possible, or bishop e6, for example, queen c2, knight bd7. This line now something like bishop e3, knight g4. Now it's not so good because bishop d4, so rook c8 is theory, rook d1, b4, knight d5, bishop takes d5, e takes d5, knight takes c5, castle. This position, it's very popular now. And for example, queen d6 is possible with idea if rook c1, queen b8 to play, and if bishop takes c5, knight d7. Okay, so it's only one of variation, but this is totally already modern theory. Or another popular line, for example, e5, b5, queen b3, knight d7. The big blunder here is bishop e6, because after e takes f6, bishop takes b3, f takes g7, king takes g7. White is much better. Three pieces are much stronger than black queen. So knight f7, and now, for example, after bishop e3, what played Karpov against Skamsky c5, e6. Skamsky played c4, but c4 is not so good move. So c takes d5 is better, c takes d4 is better, and according to modern theory, black chances are not worse. For example, e takes f7. If e takes d7, queen takes d7 simply, and if rook d1, e5 is coming, and black has per day on chess when you were young. Okay, what do you mean when I were young? So I am still young now, and I spent many hours on chess, also during my walking in the park, for example. So it's just my passion. So it's very natural process for me. Okay, so after e takes d7, queen d7, rook d1, e5, black has excellent compensation. Yes, yes. 50, I am 52. Right. And if e takes f7, rook takes f7. After knight g5, now queen e8, white has problem with pin. And if, for example, knight takes d4, black has knight c5. And if, for example, queen d5, queen takes d5, knight takes d5, knight bd7, important move, not allow knight b6. And black is prepared for bishop b7, and this is, black has no problem at all. So queen b3, if b5 can go to the same position after e5 or after bishop e2. After bishop e2, c5, d takes c5 instead of bishop e6. Another theoretical line is bishop b7. And for example, if castle, knight takes e4, rook d1 is bad because knight takes c3. So knight takes e4, bishop takes e4. White has two main opportunities, bishop g5 or bishop f4. Both are possible. So why not a4? Good question. A4 is a bad move, and this demonstrated Andras Adorjan. So c5. Idea. And if d takes c5, bishop e6, queen a3, b4, queen takes b4, knight c6, and black has very strong initiative. For example, if queen b7, knight a5, if queen b6, just queen c8 with threat knight d7. If queen a3, rook b8 is coming, and then knight b4, so okay. Against Karyakin, queen takes e6. Yes, it was preparation, but I wasn't author of this idea. So author of this idea, queen takes e6, was Mexican chess player Jose Gonzalez, who lives now in Hungary, because he married with Hungarian woman, as I know. Capablanca Memorial, okay, I won many tournament. Okay, so a4 is not good move. So after bishop e2, c5, d takes c5, bishop b7. Another line is e5. If e5, knight d7 is theory, bishop e3, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5. Now it's important that if castle, black has knight c6, and after rook d1, knight d4, and not possible for white to utilize this pin because e5 is coming. So the best for white here is to play rook d1, queen c7, knight d5, bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c6, bishop f3, rook c8. Now takes, and to play b3. And this endgame is slightly better for white, but actually black has equality with precise plays, but if you want to play this with black, you need to know how to play. f5 is the best move, as I remember, with idea king f7. Knight d5, e5, knight d7, e6. No, e6, knight takes c5. Yes, I am planning to play again in Saturday. Here and but there is interesting line: queen b3, e5, e5, knight d7. Now e6. It was played by Kasparov against Swidler. After f takes e6, queen takes e6, king h8. This is okay for black. Something like this, queen d5, takes, knight c6. So Kasparov played bishop e3. And idea of white to play if knight b6, h4 and start attack. This was game Kasparov-Swidler. Knight c6 played Swidler, h5. Rook takes f3, g takes f3, knight takes d4, rook d1, c5, bishop takes d4, c takes d4, hg, h6. This is Kasparov-Swidler. And for example, Karpov-Swidler was knight f6, but after knight f6, h4 plan is not so strong, but a4 is possible. And now black Swidler took on a4, it's possible, and after rook takes a4, knight d5, it's the strongest way. Shirov played this against Pickett. Idea of black that if bishop c4, c6, castle, knight d7 is possible, and white cannot utilize this combination because after king h8, knight b6, white losing the rook after queen c6, bishop b7. So this is pawn. So complicated. Okay, so but step by step. So it will be my video will be recorded in YouTube, so you can follow in your rhythm, and also you can give question if something it's It's too complicated. Okay, so, but this is already very modern theory, and of course I showed you only some variations. So bishop f4 and played Euwe, and Alekhine totally correctly played b5, and but his brilliant idea wasn't realized in this game. So after queen takes c7, he played queen e8. Queen e8, it's really bad move, and after queen e8, black has no enough compensation at all, because queen on c7 is quite active. So much better is just take and to play not immediately before. It was a similar question, but after before, now knight a4, and white is better, because after knight takes e4, knight b6, black losing material, and white has square c5 for his knight. But bishop b7, simple move. So difference between this that here after bishop b7, white has two possibilities. f3, it's possible just to defend the pawn, or also e5 is possible here with idea of bishop g2. Okay, bishop g2, he takes f6. So, and bishop f3, white is just winning. So after, for example, knight e8, white can play bishop b6, knight d7, bishop a5. If bishop takes g2, bishop f3, and now it's complicated position. Okay, after e5, what if e5 after b4? e5 here. Okay, I will just take probably, and I will take. So it's nothing good for white, I think. So rook b1, bishop takes f6. It looks like everything is fine for black in this position. So e5, it's not the best, but knight a4, it's idea after b4, and then knight b6. Okay, so knight f3, a6, bishop f4, but correct idea takes, and bishop b7. And now white cannot defend well his pawn on e4. Because, for example, if play bishop d3, now b4 and knight a4, it's not strong anymore, because black can just take, and after take, not losing material. After knight b6, rook a7 is coming, and everything is protected. And if white plays e5, knight d5. Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, and black has total compensation. So ideas of black to play knight c6 and rook c8 in some variation f6 is coming. So white cannot fight for advantage in this position. But Alekhine played queen e8. It's really bad move, and now white has pawn up and even better position. So bishop e2 played Euwe. Other moves was totally possible. So it's possible to consider a3, for example, to prevent b4. It's possible to consider e5. So white has many good moves, but choice of Euwe was quite reasonable. He wants just develop, like finishing his development. Also bishop d3, of course, was possible with idea to defend firmly pawn e4. But Max Euwe wanted after b4 to play knight d5. Now if take on e4, e7 is candy. Knight takes d5, e takes d5. It's not enough compensation. But probably it was the best chance for Alekhine here in this position. So b4, in my opinion, was the best move. And here just take, and to play knight d7, and try to play knight f6 in next move. So at least some fight. So knight c6, it's another bad decision. And after d5, knight b4 castle, so white has pawn up, and all trumps. in his hands. So knight takes e4. It was desperation, but black is just piece down, and compensation is totally not enough. Queen takes f4. So bishop c2, queen b4. So only one pawn against piece. It's of course not enough. And queen d8, knight e1 played Euwe. Of course, other moves was strong. For example, rook ac1 was very logical, but okay, maybe after rook ac1, queen d6 was idea of Alekhine, but it's obviously not helps. Okay, if not queen d6, if a5, now bishop h6, I think it's after rook c1, bishop h6 is idea, correct. Queen d6 is just bad because white can take and play knight e1. But bishop e6, it's not so easy. Of course, white can play rook ce1 here, and also with idea queen h4, so rook ac1 was quite good move. But knight e1, okay, Euwe choice also reasonable. Also, probably now black can try something. But white's threat probably not take on c2, but to play rook c1 also. And hard to see what black can do. Queen d4, just for example, takes, rook c1. So bishop a4, rook b1. Black also has problem with his bishop. Bishop d4. Okay, black is piece down. Probably a5 and b4 was the best chance, but objectively black should be losing. So bishop d4 played. Knight f3, bishop c5, queen h4. So white also preparing some attack in king's flank. f6, bishop c4. So now it's time to resign, but Alekhine played some moves more and resigned. So nice victory for Euwe, and but I'm impressed how good ideas had Alekhine. So he played a6, Hungarian system. He played b5 correctly, but okay. Also important to find a good way for realize correct ideas. Here, after queen e8, just one wrong move, and he spoiled everything. And now we will consider game 13. Alekhine playing is white, score is +1. And he decided to play e4. Before in this match, Euwe played French defense, but with terrible results. So in game 13, he started to change opening, and he played e5. And after bishop b5, he chose what country will you choose to live? I don't know, but I think something in Poland, maybe, okay, maybe Czech Republic, okay, Hungarian, okay, so Turkey also possible, yes, it's also possible, so Turkey or probably one country in Western Europe. So knight takes e4, Italy, okay, Italy is possible as well. Thank you for invitation. Mi piacere. d5, d takes e6, bishop e6, d takes e5, bishop e6, c6. Played Alekhine. Another very popular variation is knight bd2, knight c5, c3, d4, which was played many times between Karpov and Korchnoi. If can I say something in Turkish language? Okay, but bilmiyorum. Tam bilmiyorum. Ne hakkında konuşmak. Курица не птица. Okay. But this is not Ukrainian. This is Russian. How many language? Okay, it depends of level, but okay, I understand many of them. So, but okay, çok iyi Türkçe, tamam. Satranç hakkında konuşabiliyorum. Okay. So d4, it's popular line, and now bishop takes e6, it's one line, and now a4, for example, very popular. Another line is knight g5, but okay, so Alekhine played c3, bishop e7, a4. Okay, so a4, it's according to modern theory, it's not the best, but Alekhine played this with concrete idea of pawn sacrifice. It's interesting that he played knight d4 immediately also, and later such idea was utilized by grandmaster from Azerbaijan, Vugar Gashimov, especially against Caruana, he won one game, or it was draw, but he was better, but in FIDE World Cup. So I recommend to see Gashimov against Caruana in open Spanish. But Alekhine played knight d4 here against Fine in Avro tournament. So after knight takes e5, f3, knight f6, queen e2, knight c4. Opening, if there are opening which I have never played, okay, there are some variations, probably. Evans Gambit I have never played, for example, nor with white, nor with black. So what else? Okay, Veresov opening I played last time when, I was probably 10 years old. So, okay, probably there are some more variation. Which I have never played, but not so many, I hope. It's very good. I should try it. With white or with black? Okay, so queen e2, knight c4, it was game Alekhine Fine, and bishop c4, bishop c2. Okay, black has idea, so it's also modern strategy. So Fine took the pawn, but he is not worried to save this pawn, so he given this pawn back. So idea, if knight takes e6, takes, after queen takes e6, now to play queen d7 or queen d6, and about king's Indian attack, knight f3, g3. Okay, it's possible as well. So now queen d7 is possible, or queen d6 is possible, and black has quite an active position with even material. So bishop c2 played Alekhine, queen d7, b3, knight b6, and castle. Again, it's possible to take on e6, but this means that white is losing initiative. So Alekhine played bishop g5, knight fd2, and so it was game Alekhine against Fine. Now Alekhine playing a4. Okay, of course, according to modern theory, other moves are popular. So bishop e3, it's a very popular line. And for example, if castle, knight bd2, now queen d7 is possible. If bishop g4, old line is takes queen d5, but also another line is possible, h3. It's the game Shevchenko did it. with excellent compensation for exchange. So if bishop h5, for example, rook e1, white has idea. And if knight takes e5, g4. It's important. To see in Lviv. I don't know. It depends what is really interesting. There are many museums. So they use it to sacrifice the exchange and be happy in the old days too. Okay, sometimes. So this is a modern idea. Of course, queen d7 is possible. Many games was played. So bishop e3, it's possible. Another line is rook e1. After castle, knight d4. So knight takes e5, f3, sharp lines now. Black has bishop d6 or bishop h4. Another line is here knight bd2, of course. Knight bd2 and, for example, knight c5, bishop c2, d4, knight b3, and now d3 it's possible, or d takes c3. For example, in after d takes c3 in game Непомнящий Абусадоров was played this queen d7. Queen takes d1, it's woes here, because after rook takes d1, bishop d7, rook d3, white is better. Any drafts analysis? Okay, I can prepare some drafts analysis as well, but at the moment I'm not so strong in drafts, but okay, it's one day I will do it. So after rook d3, white is better. Liberzon against Korchnoi took on c3. It's also possible, but rook d3 is stronger. So queen d7, and now Непомнящий Абусадоров was bishop g5. So after c takes b2, white can play rook b1 or just take with this idea. But this is really complicated. G, something like this. So Непомнящий Абусадоров was after bishop g5, h6. Queen c2 played Непомнящий, hg, rook a d1, knight b4, queen takes c3, bishop takes f2, king takes f2, knight d5, queen c5, c6, knight takes g5, and go on. Okay, so Euwe tried to be solid against Alekhine, especially with black. So I don't. So Alekhine played knight d4. It's pawn sacrifice, but Euwe played opening solid. In French defense, as I explained, he had terrible score against Alekhine. Okay, so it was Непомнящий, but so Alekhine played a4 here, which according to modern theory is not the best and not the most popular, and he played knight d4, pawn sacrifice. Not sure it's really correct. White can play something more solid like bishop e3, but it's not obvious that a4, b4 it's useful for white. But it's also playable. For example, Alexandra Kostenyuk tried this line with white, with a4, for something like here, not knight d4, something like this, a5. So she played. I don't remember what exactly played her opponents, but it also exists. So knight d4, knight takes e5, f4, bishop g4 now is possible, but queen c2. So knight c4 is very logical move, so Euwe fighting for his pawn, and Alekhine played f5. More natural looks to play queen e2 with threat bishop takes c4, but of course black has a big choice here. There are moves, for example, knight a5 is possible, knight c5 is possible, also probably bishop c5 is possible, with idea if bishop takes c4, b takes c3, so black has real contraplay. So something from this Alekhine didn't like, I think. In this game, Alekhine white, Euwe black, or opening variation. Previous was Grunfeld with queen b3, Euwe was white. So, uh, game 12 was this opening, Euwe won. Game 13, Euwe white won. Game 13, Alekhine white and open Spanish. Game 14, Euwe again won in Grunfeld, but in bishop f4 line. So queen e2 is alternative, but who were famous chess players before Stein and Kuzmin? Okay, Bogolyubov, of course, he's from Ukraine. He was born near Kiev. And also Alexei Sokolsky, and also who else? Boleslavsky was born in Ukraine. Bronstein was born in Ukraine. Also, Gufeld was born in Kiev, and Konstantinopolsky as well. So many famous players. Who else? Of course, Savon. Okay, Savon. It's more or less same time like Stein and Kuzmin. Yes, Savon, of course. Bannik, 5 times. Platon. Okay, yes, Platonov also, but Bannik more famous because he was 5 times Ukrainian championship. This is a record. And who else? Okay, Tukmakov, of course, Ingor. So many chess players there are from Ukraine. Was okay, yes, he was very strong, of course. Okay, Boleslavsky lived in Belarus and Gufeld lived in Georgia. This is totally true, but both of them was born in Ukraine. If I want to reach to 800, okay, maybe, but I have no such a dreams in day of Saint Valentine. So knight c4, f5 played Alekhine, bishop c8 and queen e1. So now bishop takes c4 and queen takes e4, it's the threat. But of course, Euwe defended, and after c takes b4, so we can see the position, and it looks like very dubious for white, because black is much stronger in the center, and development of pieces is also better for black. Euwe played c5, okay, it's natural move, tempting move, but also castle looks very good, in my opinion. So black has many ideas. So c5 is possible in next move. Bishop f6 is possible. If knight c3, bishop takes b4 is possible. So I cannot see anything good for white in this position. So uh, I just want to explain that opening was in this game was how many world champions I have played against. Okay, I think against everybody of world champions. So I played against Smyslov. I played against Spassky. I played against Karpov, of course, Kasparov, and go on. So yes, everybody. Okay, I never played against Stalin, never played against Petrosyan, but no, against Stalin I never played. So opening was catastrophical for Alekhine. But Euwe played c5, so c5 it's also good move. Gives excellent position to black. So f6, white. Okay, Alekhine, of course, understands that position is very bad, but he need to do something. So he is looking for chances. Knight f5, but objectively, position of white is totally collapsed. Because not only black is pawn up, but also position is much better. So b takes c5, rook e8. Played Euwe, of course, nothing wrong with similar knight takes c5 in my opinion. So one just takes the pawns. I don't see any threats and I cannot imagine, but okay, so the only problem if I know all these games by heart, what you mean? So I don't understand the question. What you mean? To know games by heart? Bu sorun çok zor benim için. Türkçe. No, of course not. Okay, no reason. No reason to remember. Okay, I remember ideas, I remember some interesting moments, I remember result, openings, but remember all games from start to beginning, each moves, especially if this is long games, if end games. So even if imagine that I could remember this, so what is the reason? I don't understand. No, of course, no. And it's not necessary. Okay, for example, I remember that somebody told about Sachis that he remembers all games of Fischer. Okay, I don't believe it, firstly, but even I don't understand what is the reason to remember all of games. So, what is practical benefit? And okay, it's some more or less short games, some illustrative games. It's possible to remember, but if there is a long end game, for example, 80 moves, and what is reason to remember this? But okay, so Euwe played rook e8, another possible move. My own games, okay, in same style. So not all games from move one till last move, of course not. But okay, I remember that I played against this player. It was such an opening, and I can remember result. I can remember some interesting moment. Short games. Okay, some short games I remember, of course. Okay, so it's another topic. So Euwe played rook e8. So only problem for black here is very big choice. So because number of tempi You win in Tallinn. Ah, yes. Okay, Tallinn is very happy city for me because I won all tournaments which I played in Tallinn. First of all, always I was the first, and also my good friend Lembit Ol was from Tallinn. So knight takes c5, it's possible, and of course queen c7. It's looks like very logical with idea to take on c5 with queen. So only problem with black, if there are so many good options and position is so good, so to choose one of them, it's not so easy because there are a lot of temptation. And legendarily, Oscar Wilde, English writer Oscar Wilde, once explained it, that the best way to avoid a temptation is to yield it. So today is Saint Valentine date, so I wish to my spectators, if they have any nice temptation, to yield it, to realize them. Okay, so rook e8, played Euwe, Alekhine played queen b4. He is trying to find in a very bad position. So queen c8 played Euwe. Okay, maybe queen c7 as well. It's nothing wrong, but okay, so he played queen c8. Bishop takes c4. White needs to do something. a5 intermediate move, queen a3. D takes c4. Okay, looks like much better for black, probably even winning. But okay, so knight c3. Alekhine is fighting. And again, so black has many ideas. Yes, it's a big surprise how white survived in this position. Looks like totally winning for black, but okay. Also, we can remember legendarily Emanuel Lasker, who explained once that the most difficult in chess is to win in winning position. So, and this game can be another illustration of this quote. Queen c6 is possible, knight takes c3 is possible, and rook e2, for example, looks like very tempting. g2 is attacked, so rook a2 is only possibility, takes, and queen takes c5, so bishop e3, okay, but it's white still trying to do something. Of course, position is very bad. So queen c6, yes, it's but okay, nothing wrong with knight takes c5. Yes, sometimes Dima, but who is Dima? Komarov or Andreikin or another Dima? Yakovenko also Dima. Or Mitya, Dmitry. If Dmitry, it's possible to call Dima or Mitya. Okay, so knight takes c5. Okay, nothing wrong at least. Just pick Dima. Okay, no problem. So bishop e3, queen c6. So mate in threat, rook f3. Knight. Dmitry Nagorny. He is working in like a coach in my school. And rook f. So, okay, we can see, we can look at this position, and easy to understand that black has everything. So, pawn up, knight on d3. What about rook e5? Okay, rook e5 is possible, but after rook e5, white can play knight d4, for example. So I think Okay, knight d3, it's it's good move. Good, so wish you success. Rook f1. But now, okay, so we can just evaluate position. So all trumps are in black hands. So and rook takes e3, played a1, and he's hurried to win in this because sometimes it's in chess very useful to ask not what I am want. Okay, it's good idea, and black in this position can't want. But also sometimes it's very practical to ask what my opponents want. And if just give this question, so for example, what whites want? So knight h6, not possible because g takes h6 and after rook takes f6, queen takes g2 mate. So what else? And if nothing, very logical, okay, so all black pieces are well, but okay, rook on a8 not so active at the moment. So why not just play rook d8, for example, and press clock and to see what opponent will do. So very difficult to find any instructive idea for white in this position. Okay, so knight h6 doesn't work as I explained it, and what else? So rook g3, okay, rook g3 is possible with idea knight h6, knight takes f7, but well, it's black to move, for example, rook d7. What now? Go on, so just knight take g7 maybe. But okay, it looks like not serious because bishop takes g7 and after bishop h6, queen b6 check. Okay, also, of course, simply f6 is possible, or f5, everything is winning. But okay, queen b6 check, and so, okay, so after rook d8, okay, so it looks like, okay, after rook g3, of course, king h8 is possible. Queen takes h6, sorry. Even queen takes h6. It's so long line. Okay, so queen takes h6, thank you. But okay, so after rook d8, okay, white is totally collapsed. So, okay, rook g3 only active idea, but okay, I didn't see any other moves. So rook g3 and okay, even king h8 is possible, everything is possible. But rook d7 is good to protect against knight h6 and knight takes f7. But okay, so Euwe is hurry and he wants to win very quickly. And bishop d4 looks like total domination, but okay, so now probably white has some ideas, at least exchange up. So queen e7 he played. Maybe knight cd1, it's also possible to consider somehow. But he played this, knight e5, king h1. So now rook e8 immediately. No, I never played against Taimano. Yes. Queen e6 instead of bishop d4. Let's see. Queen e6. Okay, it's possible, but what is rook takes f6, queen e3, rook f2 takes. Okay, queen e6 is also good. With idea bishop e7, yes, looks like good idea anyway. But okay, for me, more simple is rook d8. Okay, queen e6 is good. Not allow queen e7 and not allow rook f6 because queen takes e3. I like this move. So, okay, probably it was more strong because now queen e7, okay, at least white has some active possibilities. Knight e5 played Euwe. If f6, rook g3, it's possible. Okay, I'm not sure is it real contraplay for white, but who knows? For example, f6, rook g3. I don't know, maybe even f5 is possible to consider here. Is it really crazy? Because rook takes f5 is not possible, because queen takes g2 mate immediately. And I want to play rook e8 in next move. So what will do white? And also bishop c5 is my idea. No, rook e8 immediately not possible, because white attacked pawns, so black should defend. So knight e5 played Euwe, but probably f5. King h1 you want. And to prepare knight takes f5. Yes, so yes, king h1 it's serious. So if bishop f6, knight takes f5 is possible. So f5 is not convincing, I agree. But okay, so probably queen e6 was better, or just not play rook takes e3. Yes, after king h1, it's suddenly white has very strong contraplay, because difficult to defend against knight takes f5. Okay, so Euwe played knight e5. It's logical move, because now white cannot take on f7, obviously, because of mate on g2. So king h1, logical move. And now rook e8 not possible, because rook takes f7. So white also has threats, but okay, Euwe took on f3 and play rook f8, h3. Okay, so if compare this position with this position, okay, so now black has total control in the board. And now, okay, so of course black has pawn up and two bishops advantage, but white pieces are active too. There is some contraplay. So queen is active, so somewhere knight d5 or knight f5. So it doesn't look like so simple, at least. So bishop takes e3. He took, I don't know if it was really necessary to give bishop, but okay, there are many alternatives. For example, if bishop c8 is possible to consider to prevent knight f5, and after knight d5 to prepare bishop e6, try to keep to bishop advantage. Queen b6 now. Queen b6, maybe knight takes c4 is possible. Queen b6, knight takes c4. And queen b3. Okay, but I don't know how convincing this. Knight takes c4 and okay, queen b3. Queen b3, knight takes a5. Okay, so at least not so. Okay, black has some ideas to penetrate. Queen h6, queen h6, queen takes b7, queen c1, king h2, but I'm not sure is it mate here. So okay, we can check at least. So black has attack, but this is mate. Bishop g1. If king g3, queen g5, mate. If king h1, bishop f2, and this is mate. So okay, so queen b6. If knight takes c4, okay, maybe knight takes c4. It's not necessary, but we will check. So queen h6. But probably rook d3 white can try. And how to win this? For example, if queen c1, rook d1, queen c2, queen e2 is possible. if queen g6, queen g6, queen g6, rook d2 probably. Yes, queen g6 I see, but rook d2. And what now? At least I don't. Queen g3 maybe. Oh, bishop g2, rook takes g2, but queen g3, I don't see defense. So, sorry, where bishop takes g2. So queen b6, knight takes c4, queen h6, rook d3 I'm considering, because queen takes b7 is mate. No, bishop g2 doesn't work. King takes g2, if queen g6, rook g3 I have. Okay, maybe it's possible anyway. So queen g6 and now queen c6 and take the knight, but is it so strong? So queen e4, queen takes c2. Now black has trouble with his bishop, so maybe knight b5. So it's, I don't know what is this. So black can lose this bishop. Okay, but why to play so complicated? So I won't just play it. So I have seen idea. So queen g6 immediately, double attack, and rook d3 it's only move, because if queen e2, bishop takes g2 I have. So rook d2 is only move, and just queen g3, and it looks like nightmare for white. Okay, but after queen b6, probably knight takes c4 is not only move, but if not knight takes c4, what else? It's difficult to. Sorry, after queen g3. Okay, so what we are considering? Rook d3, queen g6, rook d2, queen g3, queen takes b7, queen e1, and bishop g1, and mate. I already illustrated such a mate. And now even choice between bishop g3 or queen g1. So, okay, queen b6 looks like a very good idea, maybe. Because, okay, rook g3 it's possible, but even black can take on b2, so looks like knight takes c4 is only move, and queen h6, but this is not idea which very easy to find over the board. So queen b6, queen h6 is that's a nice idea. I like it as well, and I don't see any defense for white. Hello. So rook d3, queen g6, and if rook d2, queen g3. If not rook d2, if queen e2, bishop takes g2 is win immediately. Queen g2. So queen b6 was knight smooth, but okay, it was move 30, and also possible that Max Euwe could be in time trouble. So he decided to simplify the position, but of course now black has no two bishops advantage anymore, and white has no weak dark squares which possible to realize. So here white has quite serious draw with chances. So queen e6 played. So Euwe trying to simplify the position. Rook g3 played Alekhine. So okay. So after queen takes e6, f takes e6, rook takes queen g6. Okay, queen g6 is possible, but anyway, white can play rook g3 or rook f2, and not easy to win. So rook g3 played Alekhine. He doesn't want to take to exchange rooks, because in this endgame white is probably losing because of weakness of a4 pawn. So I think with pawn on a3, if allow king g1, f2, e3, g3, white has excellent draw with chances, but not with pawn on a4. So rook g3, it's the best practical chance for Alekhine, but anyways, it looks like rook e8, for example, played Euwe. Yes, so many other moves are possible, but okay, rook e8, he played queen g5. Now a5 pawn is hanging, so queen e5, queen takes e5, rook takes e5. But okay, to win this position, it's not easy because white immediately attacking, so now it's very close to draw already. So okay, let's see if black has something better here. Okay, because after rook g3, white has no real threats in the moment, so probably black can play something better. Maybe even h5. Okay, but h5, queen g5, it's not so clear. Well, he is so hurry. Okay, so he took on e3 firstly, and now, of course, black can play with queens. Even something like f6, it's totally possible. So, but okay, probably he just missed. Probably he just missed rook g3. Probably he calculated only queen takes e6 and considered this endgame like winning, but missed rook g3. And now, okay, so of course black can play with queen. So, for example, to play queen d6. Because actually, white king is weaker than black king. Yes, I like Georgia. I have been many times in Batumi, in Tbilisi, in Borjomi also. Rook d8, I'm not sure because after rook d8, rook takes g7, no, rook d8, it's a very bad move because queen g5, white is winning. So rook d8, it's no. So no, rook d8. Okay, but again, what wants white, for example, if maybe queen c5 white wants, if for example h6 to play, maybe queen c5. God, no, I am not following on Twitter, so for example, if just play h6, queen c5, not so easy because white attacking the pawn. So after black have no two bishops advantage, realize extra pawn it's not easy. So he played rook e8, queen g5, pawn is attacked. So queen e5 because pawn is hanging. So it's unplayable. Okay, or maybe it's possible just give this pawn, for example, to play g6. Maybe it's possible. Let's move 33. Well, I mean, idea can be if it takes to play queen d6, and now black has good attacking chances. With idea rook e1 to penetrate somewhere, so its position is very dangerous. Rook cannot move because rook e1. Queen e1 first. Sorry. Queen e1 and after king h2 what? No. King h2 and what is your idea? Okay. So queen d8 I want to attack rook immediately. So queen d6 I like. Queen e1 and queen f2. Aha, rook e1 is threat. Yes, it's also idea. Yes, maybe. But okay, so it's not winning. Knight d1 is possible, for example. So okay, black has good chances, of course. Okay, but okay, maybe knight d1, queen f4, for example, with threat rook e2. Ah, but now queen b5 also, so not so easy. If knight d1, no, rook e2, queen is hanging. So you need to react somehow. So queen f4, queen b5. Okay, but why not queen d6? Okay. Can you explain me? So I'm attacking the rook and knight d4. Where knight d4? Knight d4. Okay, so what we are considering? So g6, good move. Queen takes a5 we are considering. Okay, probably white has some alternatives, but okay, if not queen takes a5, black has all his trumps. So queen takes a5. And my proposition is queen d6. Your proposition is queen e1 check, right? And after king h2, queen f2. Now h5. H5, I am afraid that this and if h4 rook takes g6 idea of perpetual check. So h5, because of this, I don't like. So queen f2. Okay, queen f2, but maybe knight d1 is possible, and I don't see anything decisive. Okay, maybe yes. If queen f4, queen b5, and but okay, after queen b5. After queen f4, probably also queen g5. Queen d4 is possible. But okay, queen b5. But okay, queen c2. Queen c2. Again, queen b5 is possible. For example, queen c2, queen b5. Black has also some unprotected pieces. If, for example, rook e7, knight e3, rook takes e3, queen takes b7, it should be draw. Okay, queen's end game, but it should be draw. But okay, rook e2, I will just take on b7. And it should be drawish. Queen d4, where queen d4? After knight d1, queen d4 now. Queen d4 is interesting. Yes, I agree. Yes, and knight is hanging. But okay, I will try to fight queen b5, and if rook e1, knight e3, it's possible. Suddenly I have idea queen e8 check and knight f5 check. So at least not so easy. But okay, so why, who can fight here after my queen d6? So rook is hanging, so I'm curious what white will do. Здравствуйте. So queen g5 or what? Okay, only a reasonable move like queen g5 because yes, looks like only move. And now, okay, so if h6, queen h4 only move again. But okay, it looks like something terrible for white, by the way. Maybe even h6 and g5 is possible. Or what else I can propose here? Rook e1, queen b6, right, yes. Yes, so g6 was much stronger. Yes, rook e1, queen b6, you are right. It looks like, what do you think? Yes, that's finished. So, okay, Giri, okay, I just lost him in first round in Saturday, but because of simple blunders. But okay, he utilized it. It's good player, especially in rapid chess. Okay, so G6 actually was much stronger because main weakness of white here is king, weak king. What engine? Okay, so okay, I'm not using. Okay, if somebody use, okay, it's not forbidden. So if somebody likes, okay, why not? It's choice for everybody. Okay, but maybe after g6, maybe rook g4 is possible to consider. But anyway, queen b6 with idea rook e1, very strong, very strong. Okay, so g6 was stronger than queen e5, surely, because white king is much weaker than black one, and utilize this factor is only possible with queens. Without queens, okay, so black has no window for his king, and white immediately attack pawns. So here it's instead of queen e5, queen, yeah, here instead of queen e5, a check and queen e5. But what is logic? White can do same plan, take and rook g4. Why king on h2 is better than on h2 h1? Okay, so he played, and but now okay, it looks like black has very problematic chances to win this. Also, I see the move. Why not h5? Ah, rook takes c4, and if rook g5, knight e4. But is it finish? Okay, rook g6. I want to play f5 in next move. And still not so easy for white. Rook e3 instead of rook g4. Here you mean? Queen d6? No, rook e3 not possible. Okay, so h5 is my proposition instead of rook g5. No. Rook takes c4, rook g5. This is my idea. So I want to take on g2. So knight e4 only move, because if not knight e4, I will just take on g2 and I will win. So rook g6, and what to play? So f5 is threat. So king h2 only idea probably. With idea if f5 to play knight g3. H4? No, h4 rook g4. And white losing material. So h4 not helps. So only move king h2 looks like. If f5, knight g3 it's possible. But black can try h4. With idea f5 again, and now g4 probably only move for white, not lost immediately. But it looks like very, very dangerous. Okay, let's try. Okay, also g3 is possible, but if g3, okay, maybe g3, g3 f5. Sorry, g3 f5. This is finish. So g4, but okay, now black can do many things. For example, even rook b6 is possible. This idea to take on b2, white cannot defend, and it looks like losing position. Rook d4 after rook g6. If f5 rook d6. Yes, it's probably correct idea. Yes, rook d4. So here it's not so easy. But okay, what is the question? What white wants? If I just play h4, for example. What white will do here? White wins without minor pieces. Okay, I don't. Rook d6 not possible, so king g1 maybe. Yes, so black has simple plan to play king h7 and f5. So it looks like excellent chances for win here. Okay, but so h5 it's a good idea. So utilize main weakness. So rook takes c4, rook g5. So knight e4, rook g6. It's forcing. Now now probably. Oh, okay, rook d2 or king h. Okay, but king h2 h4 doesn't help. So rook d4, and okay, I play h4. Okay, so I hope white is losing here, but okay, probably there are one of idea is if before, for example, I have f5. If rook d6, I can just take and take here, and it should be winning. Instead of h5, rook c5. Rook c5 is possible, but white has time for rook d4 and then rook d7, some active contraplay at least. It will be not easy to win. But h5 it's much more concrete move because I am attacking. So I like h5. So white obviously need to take because if not take, no chances, and very forcing lines. So rook g5, knight e4, rook g6. And now, okay, so f5 is very unpleasant threat. So rook d4, okay, h4, and okay, looks like excellent chances at least for win. But okay, I cannot assert that this is winning, but excellent chances at least. So okay, so black played Euwe played rook e3, king g1, rook d3. Okay, but it's slow somehow. He also trying to but okay, why rook d3? Why not h5 here again? Maybe rook g5 here, afraid. Because if rook takes c4, rook g3, it's obviously that he can take on g2. Knight e4 is possible. So now knight e4 is possible. Again, also rook g6, it's okay, but now king f2, also okay, it's also interesting, rook g6, if king f2, h4, same idea. Rook d3, okay, he wants rook d2, but he losing a lot of time before such maneuvers, that's problem. But okay, it's also logical, and now white two pawns attacked, white need to give one of these pawns. Okay, it's possible to consider, for example, even this, and after this rook c5, this idea to take, but okay, rook b3, it's unpleasant somehow. So Alekhine played before, so he is giving g2 pawn, but okay, now not so easy for black because white has passed pawn a and black has no window for his king. So rook g2, king f1, rook b2 played. Rook c5. Rook c5 I explained it, but rook d4 and white has contraplay. And then rook d7 in some moment. Okay, it's not easy to win, at least. Okay, even after rook c5 one can play king g1 and firstly, and then king f2. So, okay, pawn up, but it's okay. For example, king f8. Okay, king g1, for example. How to improve the position? Okay, white next move will be, for example, king e7, g4. I can play, and then king f2. Okay, it's not easy to win. Okay, it's still winning chances, right? But it's not easy. So Euwe played rook b2. So it's there is trap. White cannot take on a5, obviously, because bishop a6, and if knight b5, rook takes b5 wins. I hope this wins. So rook c8 and e8 takes b5, but it doesn't help. King f8 just. So this is losing for white. King f8. Okay, so rook b2 he played, but rook d4, and white will have two a pawn even. G6, rook c2. Okay, this is complicated endgame. Probably some other moves can be considered, but it's difficult to assert how big are chances to win now. a6, a7, bishop c6, and rook king d2. So active play. King d4 back. And finally, they agreed to draw. Okay, so Euwe had excellent winning chances, but missed his advantage. Game ended to draw. And now we will see game 14, which was called like one of the most terrible games from the World Championship during the chess history. But okay, we will see if it's true. I hope everything is okay with sound, with video, so there are no problem with my stream today. Can somebody confirm that everything is okay? Okay, good. So game 14 in action. So d4 again and Grunfeld again. Favorite opening in from Bonn. Okay, I have never been in Bonn, unfortunately. I have been many times in Switzerland, but never in Bonn. This is not in Switzerland. It's in Germany, sorry. It's Bern in Switzerland, but I have never been in Bern as well. So d5, and in game 12, in game 12, Euwe played queen b3, but now bishop f4, and Alekhine played terrible move knight h5. But that's right. In this position, knight h5 is bad move. But idea knight h5 is good, but only explanation that probably Alekhine just missed move order. Probably he wanted to play bishop g7 and only after rook c1, knight h5. This is quite good line, and probably he mixed move order or something like this. Okay, I don't know if this explanation is true. It's same like explanation about Alekhine defense. If I don't know if somebody knows. I mean, e4 knight f6, how appeared in Alekhine practice. When I did start 2 months ago, I start with match. I started with match between Nepomniachtchi and Carlsen. Yes, it was story that Alekhine played come to play game with opponent who usually plays d4, and they sit to the board, handshake it, and yes, an opponent played move with pawn. Alekhine played knight f6, but suddenly, after playing knight f6, he have seen that there is pawn on e4 instead of pawn on d4. And okay, his opponent played e5, and he started to think what to do. Okay, it's not possible to take move back. Okay, so he started to think, and okay, he have understood that knight d5 is the best move. And okay, so this is story, but I don't know if it's a true story or not true, but interesting that I have checked games of Alexander Alekhine after e4 knight f6, and his first game with black in this position was against Fritz Zemisch. And that's true that Zemisch almost always played d4 in first move. So probably this is a true story. But okay, of course, I cannot assert this. Okay, so let's come back. So here, after bishop f4, I just want to explain that after bishop g7, if white plays e3, yes, again Zemisch was first game. So after e3, black has two main options. One is c5 after d takes c5, queen a5. Another option is castle. And after castle, rook c1 is one of the best moves. And now, okay, according to modern theory, bishop e6 is the most popular line. So before was played c6 or c5, d takes c5, bishop e6, so different lines. Well, so sometimes white is playing rook c1, idea to avoid lines with c5, because now c5 it's possible to take on d5. And after knight takes d5, knight takes d5, queen takes d5, rook takes c5 is possible. So, and if black castle, white can play e3 to avoid line immediately. e3, c5, d takes c5, queen a5. Well, but after rook c1, knight h5 is totally possible move, and now bishop e5, it looks like just bad move, because black is taking and playing d4, and after knight b5, it's not necessary to play c6 and queen a5. This is possible as well, and take on e5. But now it's okay, it's more or less equal position, so much better just play c5 and then to play knight c6, and black is obviously better here because pawn d4 is very strong and white has no development. So okay, after knight h5, what is theory? Of course, knight takes d5 is bad because black can take on f4 and take on d4. So after bishop d2, c5 is good idea. If d takes c5, d4, and very strong compensation. And also bishop g5 is possible, but bishop g5, there is game in informator. So I'm from generation to informator. It's informator 45. So now I see game Korchnoi against Vaganyan. knight h5 was played. Game 543. So, and I will show you opening. So, knight h5, but it's strange that knight h5 was called like novelty in year 1987. Knight h5 novelty. Many books I have. And after knight h5, Korchnoi played bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, and c5. So it's good idea and spirit of Grünfeld. So if d takes c5, d4 is ready. So e3 played Korchnoi. No, knight takes d5 he played. e3 played Yusupov later against Stoll. Probably this is the best. Also, black has no problem at all after ed, cd, dc, something like this. So Korchnoi played knight takes d5, and after g5, knight. G5 was possible, but Vaganyan played knight c6. G5, I think it's good as well. Maybe even stronger. Who knows? But Vaganyan played knight c6 here. Knight c6. After e3, he played bishop e6. And according to annotation of Vaganyan, black is good in all variation. Game was continued. Bishop e2, cd, ed, bishop takes d5, c takes d5, queen takes d5, bishop takes g5, g takes h5. And black is better, although later Vaganyan blundered and even lost this game. So this is from Informator. But okay, so Alekhine played knight h5 in this position. It's not the same story. So knight h5 is just bad move. That's true. And Euwe reacted very logically. Bishop e5 to provoke f6 and bishop g3. What is my favorite time control? If near to classical game, 1.5 hour per games and 30 minutes from the start, without 40 moves, without. What do you think? Chance to qualify? Of course, he has chance. Okay, so I don't think that Aronian is clear favorite in final match against Nakamura. So it's more or less equal chances in my opinion. So bishop g3, now white is obviously better because black has problem with diagonal a2 g8 and also with development of bishop f8 because with pawn on f6 bishop is not active anymore, and on bishop h6 also e3. So he took on g3, played c6. Probably more precise was not Harry with this taken, maybe c6 was more accurate. After e3, bishop g7. Anyway, of course, white is better, but at least was not necessary. But now bishop h4, it's also it's possible idea, and then bishop e2 or g4 in some variations. So knight g3, this is. Yeah, knight takes d5 is not a good idea because black has knight takes f4 and e5 at least. Take is not possible because bishop b4 checks, so this is okay, but it's hard to believe that Alekhine hoped that such a trick can work in World Championship match. So bishop a5 is also possible, by the way, was bishop g5. Same what Korchnoi did against Vaganyan, because it looks like rook c1 is less useful move than bishop g7 for black. But okay, maybe it's not so easy, by the way. For example, like this, if e3, bishop g7, if bishop takes c4, c5. if d takes c5, maybe black can consider even bishop takes c3 and queen a5. It looks strange somehow, but who knows. Okay, it's really strange. Knight e2, for example. If queen takes c5, queen d4, it's white is much better. So bishop g5 is good as well for white, but bishop e5, it's good. And what I'm used to prepare for my games. Okay, during chess.com tournament, between the games, I used my canapé to lie a little bit and relax and to create a good mood before next game. Okay, so f6 played, he took c6, bishop d3, and he played castle. Okay, so it was called like incredible blunder. Well, that's true. Castle is he blundered at the pawn, but okay, at the moment black has nothing good because rook takes h7. Rook takes h7 is threat, and f5 is possible to play, but white can play, for example, takes and f4, and then knight f3, knight e5, or immediately f4 is possible, not allow knight c6. So anyway, position of black is very unpleasant. Okay, but Alekhine played castle and Euwe played rook h7. So, okay, in all books which I have seen, so rook takes h7 is move with exclamation mark, so very good move. And okay, I agree that this is good move, but in my opinion, modest opinion, so in this position, more precise was take on d5, and only after take on d5, now play rook takes h7. Again, king takes h7 lost immediately because of this, and queen h7 mate, so this is losing. But what is difference? After f5, just play rook h1 and try to utilize same ideas which Euwe did in the game. Why? Because rook takes h7 played Euwe, Alekhine played f5. Rook h1 played Euwe, and Alekhine played e5. D takes e5, another not obvious moment. So in all annotation which I have seen, so this move was were considered like, okay, so after rook takes h7, game is finished, blah blah blah. But well, it's I'm disagree. So after e5, in my opinion, c takes d5 is the best idea. If d takes e takes d4, d takes c6, important trick, and black cannot take because bishop c4. If rook e8, queen b3, there are some problems. So this looks like bad for black. Or c takes b7, queen. So because after d takes e5, so in my opinion, not castle was decisive blunder for Alekhine in this game, but in this moment, bishop e5, terrible move. So of course, necessary was to play d4. It looks like very logical move because now pawn c4 is bad for white and bishop d3 is not active anymore. And for example, if e takes d4, queen takes d4, okay, black has 2 pawns up, but f4 it's not possible because queen e3 check. And after queen e2, I can take with check on g3 and then take on f4. And after knight g2, rook d8 is coming. And suddenly white is losing the piece without serious compensation. So knight f3 looks natural, yes, but okay, I can play queen c5 and okay, white has 2 pawns up, but position is totally unclear because knight d7 is coming, pawn e5 is weak, so more or less forced white should castle, okay, knight d7, e6, knight e5, and okay, probably white is better, but this is very far from finishing of game. So black has chances. Okay, but I think about this position during a long time. Okay, as my habit, probably wrong habit, so I didn't check my conclusion with computers program, but I have ideas that probably after d4, the best way for white is not take on d4, but start with c5. But it's not so easy to find this move. But okay, so it's idea that after d takes c4, c3, white has bishop c4. After bishop takes e5, white has knight f3, something like this. So what is the main reason of c5? Because after bishop e6, I have this idea. E takes d4, queen takes d4, f4 now. So, and so as I explained it, without c5, bishop e6, f4 was wrong. But now it's different story. So queen e2, queen e3. Okay, if not queen e3, if rook d8, white can play just bishop e2. Also, even this, its position not totally clear, because very likely black can attack c5 pawn and no, Viviane, okay, it's something like women name, French women names. Vivian. Vivian Lee, it's famous actress. Uh, queen takes c5. Okay, so queen takes c5 is not possible immediately, but black can play bishop f8, so at least some chances. But the most important variation after f4, queen e3, firstly, instead of rook d8. Queen takes c5, okay, queen takes c5 is possible, but white is better after knight f3 and then knight g5. But my idea is queen e3 to play knight e2, and if now rook d8, bishop takes f5. This is my idea. And after rook takes d1, knight takes d1. So, and okay, so after queen e2, king e2, white is better. After queen takes c5, bishop e6, king f8, white is better as well. But okay, it's a lot of games still. So, so of course, Alekhine should play d4, and okay, although white is better, but it's still chances. But after bishop takes c5, yes, this is already very bad. So knight f3 also possible to take on d5. F3, yes, it's bad, and black has problem with king, and they need lost some time. So now that's true. So queen f6, and now all trumps are in the hands of Max Euwe. So rook c7, black has no development, so black has many good moves here. So rook c7, it's one of them, so probably rook h7. Of course, maybe queen b3 was strong, so okay, so it's possible to propose many good moves in such position. Yes. So rook c7 played Euwe, knight d7 played Alekhine. Okay, maybe knight c6 was the best chance, but anyway, its position is very bad. Bishop c2, bishop b3, it's one of possible plans for white. So knight d7, bishop b5. So white also has d4 square for his knight. Somewhere rook h6 is idea, and knight h4. Maybe even immediately rook h6 was possible, and then knight h4 probably. Now rook c7. Rook c7 is probably idea also if knight c6 to prepare rook h6 to avoid king g7, and knight h4 is coming, so terrible for black. So knight d7, but okay, so bishop b5, queen d6, rook c4, okay. Okay, other moves was possible. Queen c1, for example, looks totally enough. Rook c4 and rook h4. Okay, so in such position, white has many ways to win. So black has no contraplay. Knight g5, knight h7, still rook a8 and bishop c8 not developing, and black has terrible problem with his king. Rook h7. Okay, so bishop b3 is prepared. Bishop e6. Okay, Alekhine trying to fight, but rook takes g6 and queen h5 is making threats. But I don't know, is it real mate or not? After d4, for example. Rook g6, queen h5, king f6. I'm curious if there is mate here. It's very likely, but where? f4. f4 here. No, f4, queen takes e3 probably. No, here f4. No, here f4, queen c1 check. Or bishop. Okay, maybe even this is possible. Queen c1, bishop d1, maybe. It's very likely this is winning. If rook g8, queen h6, rook g6, queen h4. Yes, it's very likely. So bishop f7, king g8. Okay, I'm not sure that what did Euwe it's absolutely best. Okay. So of course this position is very bad. I didn't analyze it already seriously because white has too many good possibilities. For example, if after knight d7, probably instead of bishop b5, bishop c2 is possible. Maybe, okay, maybe bishop b5 is good, but for example, what is wrong with queen c1 or queen c2? Okay, queen c1, example. Looks like black has just no move, so rook h6 is coming. Okay, so we'll see. But rook c4 played Euwe, queen c5. Queen d4, in which moment? Here, queen d4. Maybe it's possible. But instead of because now I don't see a clear mate. Maybe there is, but I don't see. Instead of bishop b5, queen, no, instead of bishop b5, queen d4 is not possible. Queen a4 maybe. Queen a4 may be possible. But if queen d6, queen h4, maybe this is a good idea. Attack the knight, and if queen a1, yes, queen a4, maybe it's a good idea. Okay, so Euwe played bishop b5, queen d6, rook c4. Of course, it looks like terrible for white, but for black, of course. For white, it's not terrible. For white, it's nice. Maybe bishop b3 simply is possible to play. Okay, I'm looking this. King f6. Maybe it's not so clear yet. least I don't see direct win. Okay, so he played knight h7, rook d8, knight takes f6. Queen takes d4. Where queen takes d4? Queen takes d4. Rook h7 line, in which moment? If I have a schedule, usually I'm doing in 9 o'clock. Okay, maybe also tomorrow I will do it because, but I'm not sure. So, okay, so in Facebook, bishop d7, rook h7. Yes, takes and king f6. If rook takes d7, king takes g5, and but okay, it looks like winning. Sorry, f4 maybe. It's just coming. If king h6, maybe g4 is wins, or maybe king f2. King f2 is more simple. Black has no defense against queen h1 mate. Okay, g5 it's not defense. Yes, king f2, queen b2 check, king f3, and queen h1 is mate. So, okay, so after bishop b3, what else? If not bishop d7, black has no moves. Knight h7 is coming. So bishop b3 was possible. And okay, after if king f6, just greeting from Romania. Okay. Buonasera. Buonasera. It's good evening in Romanian language, right? I remember Bună dimineața, good morning, Bună ziua, good afternoon, and Bună seara, good evening. If I am right? Yes, buonasera in Italian. Yes, I know. If I speak German, okay, ich eins bisschen Deutsch. Ich verstehe Deutsch eins bisschen. Not very well. Nicht so gut. I am not Grishchuk, I am Ivanchuk. Chinese, some words I know, but I don't speak Chinese. Okay, now queen takes d5 is winning. And black has no perpetual check, and so you're right. Do you speak Romanian, Mr. Grishchuk? So, but I'm not Mr. Grishchuk. I'm another Mr. So, okay, knight h7 played. Okay, so I'm not in mood to speak in day of Saint Valentin about politics. So Alekhine Euwe match seems me much more romantic occasion. So they played his match during 2.5 months in 13 different towns of Holland. Thank you for you. So rook h6, so d4 probably this is mate. Probably after d4 also possible to start with f4 to prepare rook takes g6 idea. Because if bishop c4, king g1, queen takes e3, king h2, and black cannot defend. Was Alekhine drunk? Okay. Okay, I like how Salo Flor, who was second of Max Euwe during this match, explained it, that for public it's not so easy to understand what was happened in Krause variation. Okay, so now name Krause variation, it's not so popular, so I want to explain what is this. Here it's not so clear because Queen E2, by the way. But Krause variation is Slav defense. It was called Krause variation. So in this line, it's Krause variation, which they played many times with both colors. Yes, so this is Queen is 2, Bishop B3. You mean Bishop C2 and Bishop B3? Yes, there is some variation. Knight A6, Knight B4, okay. So Knight E5, this is Krause variation. But okay, so for public, it was not so easy to understand who is better, who is worse, what are main lines. But okay, it was much more easy to see sometimes that Alekhine was a little bit drunk, probably. Okay, so, but okay, if consider seriously, okay, it was March, 2.5 months. During 2.5 months, and Alekhine during the match many times had advantage with score. So even +3 we had several times. Then after even game 19 he had +2. So okay, so hard to believe that such a long time he could be really drunk and demonstrate such a good level. Okay, maybe sometimes was happened something. Okay, surely I wasn't witness of this, but okay, who knows? But okay, so let's try to finish this game. Seek health. Okay, so even if imagine that sometimes Alekhine took something from alcohol beverage, I think it's not forbidden for me to analyze these games being sober. I am totally sober now, so I think it's not forbidden to analyze games of World Championship match being sober like me now. Recommendation to white in Philidor line. Okay, Knight F3, Knight BD7, Bishop C4. It's I wasn't lucky with black in this line. But of course, you can told me that I can not explain you anything new, because of course everybody knows that E4, D6, D4, Knight F6, Knight F3, E5. Okay, so okay, of course, D takes E5 is another line. Knight G2 is possible with idea to prepare F3 and Bishop E3, Queen D2 plan. So it's matter of taste, but the most aggressive probably Bishop C4, Bishop E7, castle, A4, something like this, and then Rook E1 is very popular line. So here I lost terrible game against Van Hau in 15 months. I don't remember how it was, but who are interested easily can find this game in database. It was Blitz in Mind Games in China. Okay, so, but I have intention to finish the game. So I don't know anything about Twitter, so I never followed this. So this is question. It's a little bit not for me. So okay, F4 is not so clear because of the Queen E2. But sorry, if I have bishop e8 here, queen takes and protect pawn g. But if queen takes, I have queen h5 idea also. Is it winning? Maybe, who knows? Queen g5. Okay, maybe it's too complicated. So f4 I propose it. Maybe rook. Okay, maybe rook takes g6, queen h5, and f4. It's direct way for win. So at least we didn't find any. F4. Yes, if queen c1, bishop d1. So probably queen takes e5. Queen takes e8. Queen h5, king e6. But okay, rook takes g6. King d5, queen takes f5. So it's certainly this line it doesn't work. Okay, probably black has something else. I don't know. Bishop f7 maybe, and then maybe bishop f7 is possible, and then queen e6. And here it's not so okay. Maybe it's bishop e8. It's too much. Okay, maybe white has something better here. But okay, with queen c1, bishop d5, and suddenly. Also, possible to consider just take. To go to endgame, surprisingly. Bishop takes and bishop b3. Now rook f7 is threat. So rook f8 is only move. But okay, if rook d7, rook d8. So if rook b7, okay, it's not a win. So okay, so maybe this is correct idea. Queen h5 and now f4. Maybe that's true that black cannot avoid the mate, because there is no perpetual check. Maybe that's true. Okay, but Alekhine played bishop f7, king g1, good prophylactic move. So white is preparing queen h5 and then rook takes f7. For example, if d4, queen h5. Important that king is ready to go to h2 and rook takes f7 is threat, or queen h4 check. So it looks like should be winning for white. So king h1, king g1, it's a very nice prophylactic move. Rook g8, okay, black is trying to defend, but this is hopeless. Now it's obvious that white has many ways to win. Bishop b3 is possible, but g4 is logical because white just undressing black king with g4. If I will stream with other streamers, it's totally possible, but only the question if you mean that I should invite somebody or somebody will invite me. What do you mean? At the moment, nobody invited me, so but maybe somebody will. Okay, I don't know if somebody will. Okay, yes, I think it's possible. Both ways is possible, and maybe. But in your opinion, with whom together would be interesting? If you mean famous players, of course, somebody of famous players. Ponomarev, okay, it's also possible. Hikaru, okay. Hikaru, okay, it's possible. Kamsky, possible. Okay, can consider all of these possibilities. So, Sweedler, why not? Okay, any of them, it's totally possible, but only question if they will invite me or I should invite somebody of them. So g takes f5, bishop b3. Material is equal, but black has terrible problem with his king. Queens are on the board. Blitz games, but okay, if I want to play good blitz, so it's difficult to. John, you mean Spielman? But okay, I have no his contacts even. Can you give me at least his contacts? If you mean Spielman. Yasser Seyravan, okay, it's also possible. I have nothing against somebody. So Queen e5 played Alekhine. He's trying to fight, but Euwe attacking very well. Okay, at first glance at least, so I didn't analyze this part of game very deep way, so I understand that black in unpleasant position, white is attacked. Probably players missed some resources, but what can I show? For example, queen e4 doesn't work because rook takes f7 and bishop takes d5. And for same reason, rook g8 not possible because queen takes d5 or bishop takes d5 was written as well, of course. So this white utilizing white is playing d4 and utilizing tactical motifs with diagonal a2 g8. Okay, but maybe king g6 was possible. I don't know. Because if queen h3, rook c1, not so clear. King g2, queen e4. So at least black has some checks. Okay, probably even this is winning for white. Okay, we can try to check because queen h6 is terrible threats. Few checks probably doesn't help for black. Just f3 it's possible. And black has no checks anymore, so only rook c2. But after rook c2, white can just take and play king g3. And position is totally winning. So after king g6, queen h3, it's a good idea. So g4, it's Euwe calculate very good. I know that Mamedyarov likes very much games of Euwe. So and Mamedyarov as well is excellent tactical player. A mail address is publicly available. Please send him a mail. But Jonathan, and after Jonathan, what? Gmail or what? Or Hotmail or what? So I see Jonathan dot and what after? Jonathan dot and what? Gmail or Yahoo or what? He has own site. Okay. So okay, probably I will try to find in Google. Okay, I understand what you mean. So after g4, bishop g6 played Alekhine. He gave a pawn, but probably there is no defense. G5 also threat. So g4 is its move actually in Mamedyarov style. So Mamedyarov likes to play g4 very much, even against Yesipenko played g4 on move 3 after d4, knight f6, c4, e6. He played g4. Okay, and made draw, so he didn't lost. But okay, he likes to play g4, so probably games of Euwe had influence to Mamedyarov. So, but in this moment, g4 is really strong move, looks like. Dot, ko, dot, uk. Okay, so I will write Jonathan, dot, yes, website ko, dot, uk. Ko, dot, uk. Okay, understand, spell. Okay, so okay, we'll consider this possibility. Thanks for your idea. So Alekhine played bishop g6. I don't know if there is some more stubborn ideas for black, but very bad position. But we can see that even after many blunders, after terrible open, it was a real fight till the end. So it wasn't easy victory of Max Euwe, like explained it almost all commentators. So Alekhine, okay, had very bad position, but he tried to fight, and Euwe should demonstrate very good calculation. For example, to play g4, it's not easy decision for practical player. But Euwe did. Okay, maybe objectively here, rook f8, for example, was the best way. Okay, it's at least try to defend against direct threats. And probably black is not losing immediately, but of course, very, very bad position. Even g5 is possible, and this doesn't work because queen g7 winning. So, and so after g5, king e7, g6. So king e6 is only move. Okay, so. Okay, black still on the game, so it's white is much better, but yes, rook g8, I explained it already. The best world championship game. Okay, if also candidates match was excellent game Gelfand against Mamedyarov in Najdorf variation. Gelfand won with rook sacrifice. And okay, many interesting games was between Karpov and Kasparov, for example, in game which Kasparov won in Zaitsev variation. Knight was on a3, so king h2 in some moments, so it was really nice game. But okay, it's difficult to say what is the best. So probably rook f8, okay, so okay. Black still on the game. Okay, bad position, but okay, if g5, okay, maybe not g5, maybe queen h3. Okay, queen h3, black can take on g4. And okay, probably this is losing very likely, but it's not like, it's not a position which is possible to win. No. What is proposed? Bishop d5 and rook h6. Why black can resign? Queen is defended by bishop, so king d7 or king e7. Of course, I will not play this, but I can play d7 or e7. Okay, so okay, rook f8. I don't know what's. Okay, at least I don't see direct way for win. Of course, very bad position. Okay, maybe rook h6 simply is possible. But okay, king e7, so it's still some play. Okay, excellent winning chances. Okay, g5, king e6. Okay, maybe now white has something really unpleasant for black, but for example, queen h3 looks like very tempting. But okay, rook g8. If f4, black at least will have some checks, so it's still some fight. So after rook f8. Oh, of course, obviously. White is much better, should be winning, but it was a real fight. But now also White has extra pawn. It's quite against Marozzi. Okay, why to hate? Because there are plans with a5, a4, and quite active play. I mean, in this position. If you mean Marozzi. And if you know this line, for example, okay, I will demonstrate from this move order. e4, d6, bishop e2, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, bishop g7, bishop e3, castle, queen d2, a5. So it's totally playable line, and you need to consider this. For example, if rook c1, a4, f3, queen a5. So if castle, bishop e6. If knight d5, queen takes d2. If knight takes e7, king h8. If bishop takes d2, rook e8. This position is drawish. Knight d5 only move, knight takes d5, c takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop d5, rook e5. It's important move. Now, if e takes d5, rook takes d5, both bishop are hanging. So if bishop c3, bishop takes a2, everything is fine for black. Bishop e5, bishop e5. So if bishop takes a4, bishop takes e2, and this is drawish. So this is one of line which you can add to your repertory against Marozzi. So a4 and a5 plan. But please not use this line if white plays f3, because now after bishop e3, castle, queen d2, if you play a5, two reasons. So knight a4 is possible because pawn is protected, and also white can block black pawn with b3. With a4, b4, because knight takes e4 and bishop takes e1. It's not possible like after bishop e2. So after f3 you can try another lines. For example, queen a5 here, or play bishop g7 without taking. So yes, king f2, yes, Caruana played, I know, but it's a complicated game. So king f2, yes. So king f2, bishop d7. It's possible, and now white has c5 immediately. c5, it's looks like drawish, so rook fd1 more precise, but okay, so it's possible to prepare this as well. What is my opinion about Nepo performance? You mean in rapid or what? So he shared first place with Abusadorov. So excellent result, by the way. In Blitz he wasn't so successful, but also played good. But he was in top 10. Yes. Okay, if a5, b3, it's also not tragedy. There is line, for example, to play bishop g7, bishop e3, castle, bishop e2, for example, take, a5, castle, bishop d7, and then queen d2, bishop c6, and knight d7. So it's also playable position. b3, knight d7, a lot of theory. So no reason to hate Marozzi system. But okay, so I need to finish somehow game with knight h5, because it's quite bishop f4, knight h5, so this line. So how game was finished. So in my opinion, rook f8 was the best practical chance instead of bishop g6. Now it looks like losing, because white has not only attack against king, but also one extra pawn, and g5. Brilliant way. And Alekhine resigned because there is no way to defend against mate. So such 3 games I choose it for today, and surely I will. Okay, you met Bronstein. No. So, okay, I spoke with Bronstein probably only a few minutes. So, and surely he didn't contact with any of my trainers. So this is total fantasy. So it's nothing with true. Is this game okay? I had this, but okay, it's very nice man. Okay, maybe, but okay, I didn't know him well. Okay, personally, so I spoke with him. Okay, probably not more than 10 minutes. So, but okay, I can believe that he was really nice. I read his books. I have seen his games, annotations, of course. It's a great player. It's one of real geniuses on chess. Okay, but for today, I think it's enough. So I wish. Who do you think win? But okay, tomorrow is just game one. Who play with white? As I understand, tomorrow one game. After tomorrow, another game, and also tie break if. Yes, in 1991, I won against both of them. Okay, so good night for Naka White. Okay, so in my opponent, in my opinion, okay. So, chances more or less equal, a little bit, okay, maybe 55 against 45 to Aronian. So I think Aronian seems me more like favorite in this match because exactly in this tournament he demonstrate better play than Nakamura, in my opinion. But okay, we'll see. This is fight. Everything is possible. Igor Geller. Where I don't know how to say sent in Turkish. Signed in Turkish language. I want to say signed Valentin günü için çok tebrikler. But I don't know what is signed in Turkish language. Tanrı, okay, okay. Tanrı is God. Signed, okay. Aziz, okay. Aziz. Oh, guten Abend. Okay, this I understand, of course. Ich verstehe. Gute Nacht. Aziz. Okay. Bye.